What is your favorite movie with a low rating, but for you it's 10/10? Coneheads, it's surprisingly well directed. They actually put effort into the plot versus what we got with later SNL movies. The cast is amazing and the special effects actually hold up fairly well. It's incredibly quotable. I think the negative reaction when it came out comes down to two big things. First, it's a bit different from the Conehead sketches on SNL. Second, they kind of accidentally stumbled into a pro-immigrant message which people took to be deliberately political, and I think would be better received today. Any Adam Sandler movie. I don't know why people review them as being so bad. It's an Adam Sandler movie. It makes you feel good for like an hour and a half and you can turn off your brain and just be entertained. It's not supposed to be Shawshan. Even his drama films like Punch Drunk Love and Reign Over Me are great films. I never understood why he gets all the hate. He's not hurting anybody. Mother famously got an F on Cinema Score. It is still at 51 audience score on RT. It's not the perfect allegorical film by any stretch. And Jennifer Lawrence has this slightly confused and frustrated put-upon reaction to everything happening. But I enjoy it for what it is. I saw it in the theater on opening weekend and since got it for home streaming. Cutthroat Island. As a little girl, I loved this movie. Some girls like Clueless, 10 Things I Hate About You. I like Geena Davis as a pirate who skinned her dead father's scalp because it was tattooed with 1/3 of a pirate map. This naturally led me to the movie The Long Kiss Goodnight, which is probably equally low rated. Chef's Tooth. I feel like no one has seen this but Tadpole. It's got John Ritter, Sigourney Weaver, Bebe Neuwirth, set in NYC at Thanksgiving. So funny. But no one has ever heard of it. Only reason I saw it was I was having a bad day. I walked to the local indie film cinema and asked for a ticket for the next show, whatever it was. It was Tadpole. Okay, hear me out. Japanese superhero film hentai kamen, or roughly translated pervert mass. It perfectly strikes the balance of campy, cheesy, and badass FX while being funny, fun, and ridiculous. But it is so clear that everyone involved knew what they were doing and loved the project. Mowgli Legend of the Jungle, Netflix 6/10. It's because of Boot. He's so precious. I love him so much. Some scenes were a bit traumatizing though. But it's still a 10 for me. I like the script conversations and the boldness of the writer to show some painful, uncomfortable situations. The Room. It's like watching a car crash in slow motion. You want to look away, but you just can't. Every scene leaves me in stitches. It's so bad. It's good. A cinematic masterpiece of the so bad is good genre. 10/10 would watch Tommy Wiseau throw a football in a tuxedo again. Guardians of Gahul. Grew up with that movie. The visuals are great for a 14-year-old movie. I know, the bad guys are basically Nazi owls. But it's still a good story. I listen to the audiobooks a lot. Because it never got a second movie. It was a good part of my childhood. Home for the Holidays is a favorite film of mine that I watch every year at Thanksgiving. It's only at 64 on Rotten Tomatoes. The cast is stellar. The relatability is there for me. As I've grown older, I've been able to connect with various characters from the film. I unironically really enjoy Knockaround Guys 2001, but it's kind of goofy. Seth Green's character is weirdly sincere. It wrapped up too abruptly, and Vin Diesel was wildly over the top, which is not entirely a complaint, earning it under 25 on Rotten Tomatoes. Generation a Keanu Reeves movie which has bad reviews all over the place. When I say the movie for the first time went in without knowing anything about the movie at all, it is an observational piece for me. Found it quite meditative and ahead of its time. The Machinist 2004 has a 61 on Metacritic, and is generally only known as the role Christian Bale became £121. But is such a great film in exploring guilt, and how it eats a man alive. The line, "I just want to sleep," sits so well with me. The Three Musketeers 1993 is fantastic. The only thing that might make it less than 10/10 is Chris O'Donnell's performance. not living up to the scene chewing from the rest of the incredibly stacked cast, especially Tim Curry and Oliver Platt. There's this old obscure Rankin-based Christmas movie from the 70s with a family of mice and a clockmaker, and like 3 songs in it called "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Pretty sure it's terribly mid and low rated, but it's a classic for my family. The Big Year. Not quite sure how it flops so hard considering the cast. I guess people really don't want to watch a movie about bird watching, lol. I have zero interest in birds, but I love the movie and always come back to it every now and then. Kingpin, you know. That Amish bowling movie with Woody Harrelson, Randy Quaid, Bill Murray, and Vanessa Angel. 49 on RT, 4.3 on Meta. I love it. Honorable mention to The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. 41 on RT, and I love it too. Made this year, and even though it's in Arabic it's still funny as hell and you always have a good time. Film from Cairo about a retired mercenary doing one last mission until his kids are sent to him. Biodome, and I have no logical explanation for it. I don't even like Pauly Shore or Stephen Baldwin. The movie itself is really stupid too, but I love it. I think a lot of it may be nostalgia. Also, the soundtrack is awesome. Popstar Never Stop Never Stopping. Not really that lowly rated, but most people never even heard of this movie. The song was so catchy, and the ending gave such a good feeling payoff. Entertaining mockumentary of modern age. Mate, That's My Boy with Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg. It's a goddamn clusterfuck from start to finish, but I think it's actually hilarious and has pretty good social commentary if you look past all the ... taboo stuff. The Boondock Saints. Critics on RT sitting at 26, but audience score is 91. I'm sorry, but if you don't like that movie, we cannot be acquaintances, let alone friends. The audience has spoken and the critics are dead wrong. Over the Hedge. It was one of my favorite movies growing up, but it never got that much recognition. I don't know if it's just nostalgia now, but even if I watch it as an adult, I think it's still good and it makes me laugh. Ivanhoe 1982. I was obsessed with that when it came out. My dad recorded it off the air on our brand new VHS player. I watched it 200 times. Easily. The Red Corner. It was considered anti-Chinese propaganda, fair point, and was banned in China. When people mention Richard Gere, this is not the first movie that comes to mind for most, but I love it. Small Soldiers has a 49 rating. It's almost as good, if not as good, as Gremlins. One of the best family action movies ever, and somehow the effects still stand up pretty well by today's standards. Hard Ticket to Hawaii. It's so incredibly bad. It's funny. Its only redeeming features are a couple of Playboy playmates that show a lot of skin. Andy Sidaris made several more just like it. Black Dynamite 2009. One of my first dates with my now wife was watching this movie. She didn't appreciate the humor at all, but I couldn't stop myself laughing. I thought it was genius. Jack and Jill. I watched it recently and was literally laughing out loud. I wondered how I had never heard of it, and looked it up, and it's one of Adam Sandler's lowest rated movies. Dirty Work. Norm Macdonald and Artie Lama. Shooter McGavin is the villain. Cameos from Chevy Chase, Don Rickles, and Chris Farley. Same director as Half-Baked. I love it so much. Pacific Rim. It's my comfort movie I keep watching to fall asleep. Love the movie too, it's great. The one American film I know without a doubt. I love the whole entirety of it. Contact. It has a Rotten rating of 68. I think it's one of the most brilliant movies ever made. There are some issues here and there, but certainly not worth the 68 score. Sucker Punch. Decent action, cool visuals, a story I can overanalyze and make deeper than it probably really is. It's a 10. Okay, not really a 10, but I still love it. Charlie's Angels with Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Drew Barrymore. The film doesn't take itself too seriously and remains one of the funniest action comedies ever made. The Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro only has 29 on Rotten Tomatoes. But I like the knife fighting in it. Bought the knife that was in the movie too. I love Burlesque with Cher and Christina Aguilera. It's super camp. Costumes are gorgeous. Dance numbers, Hannibal songs, and beautiful people. What's not to love? I'd say 9/10. Speed Racer, severely underrated. Honorable mention, Dukes of Hazzard movie. Some of the best shots of hooning in a Charger ever put to film. Strange Wilderness, currently on Rotten Tomatoes. A very funny stoner movie about some people going to look for Bigfoot to save their nature show. How does What Lies Beneath only have a 6? You have Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer in a really good ghost story with a kick a dollar twist at the end. Josie and the Pussycats. It's 53 on RT, but I think there are some pretty subtle jokes that just get me. Also, Tara Reid in The Shower. Hilarious. It's dumb, but hilarious. Called I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, one of Chris Rock's first movies. 8 of the fish tank platforms are out of sight. The Waterboy is at 33 on the Tomatometer. That movie is the best dumb humor movie there is to me. So many funny scenes and quotable dialogue. The Boondock Saints. 26 on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's one of my all-time favorite movies. Yes, it's dark and violent, but it's so damn good. Stargate. Crushed by critics, but I rewatch it all the time. James Spader and Kurt Russell versus an Egyptian alien demigod. Count me in.